Hello everybody, this is Marius Free from GreenPro Consulting. Um, sometimes you make a video because you just want to help people in the industry. Unfortunately, this video I'm making out of frustration. I have been struggling with the SunSync um, operating or system mode, I think that's what they call it. And the settings around that for quite a while, and I've been wondering why it is so difficult to understand it. And I think I've come to the realization is because they have too many tick boxes. And that's what I want to make a short video on, just to explain what I think is wrong. So what we're talking about is if you have um, solar power, then that solar power in the system can go to one of three places. It always goes to the critical loads, or what they call the UPS there. Okay, so that is always on. You don't need an option to set that. Then you have an option to push it back. This is call that little piece there, the bidirectional output, which, well, it is not actually, you shouldn't see it as a physical output because it goes there and there. But essentially, the part that goes there is the bidirectional output of the inverter, which takes solar power and it can push it back. So it can push it back to non-critical loads. And in addition, it can push it into the grid. Now, of course, it's a physical impossibility to push it into the grid without pushing it there. So you only have three options. That is always on, okay, which is one option. So only that one. Then you can have an option where that is on and that is on. That's a second option. And then you can have an option where that is on and that is on and that is on. The problem with the SunSync system is that they have three tick boxes. Now, Boolean logic dictates that if you have three tick boxes, you can have one of 8 possibilities. So you can specify one of 8, and it doesn't actually prevent you from ticking any of these boxes at any time. So you can specify 8 possibilities, and there is only 3. And that is the problem. They made it too complicated. It should only be 2 tick boxes. So let's see what those tick boxes should be. I've made a drawing here trying to depict the screen more or less the same as they have it. But what I've done is I've said there's only 2 tick boxes. And I said the first one is solar feed to non-critical loads. And the second one that can only be switched on if that one is on is solar feed to the grid. And that's the only 3 options that you should have. You tick none of them, you tick that one, or you tick both. And that gives you the options. So, in this version here, where none of the boxes are ticked, you've got that. You've got power flowing to the critical loads. You don't have power flowing there, and you don't have power flowing there. The second option that you can have is you tick that box, solar feed to non-critical loads. That one is not ticked. And in this case, this becomes a valid number. In other words, your grid feed trickle set point. I'm not going to go into that now, why that is necessary. I think SunSync Keith has actually explained that fairly well in some of his videos. Right, so that's the second possibility. You can tick that. You tick that, then you're pushing power back into the non-critical load. So you switched on solar feed to non-critical loads, and now the power flows there as always, and it flows down there. Second possibility is you tick this as well, solar feed to the grid. So now the solar goes to the non-critical loads as well as to the grid. You can't tick that without that because it's a physical impossibility, and SunSync should prevent you from putting a tick there if that isn't there. Now, of course, if you've got that one ticked, then this becomes a valid number. because that is the maximum amount of power that you can feed back to the grid. If this is, of course, 0, then it is the equivalent of not having a tick there. Okay. If somebody wants to do that, then, if that makes him happy, you can set it up like that. So if you've got both of these ticked, then you've got power going to the critical loads, power to the non-critical loads, and power back into the grid. The power that can flow there is being set by the maximum grid feed figure that you put in there. And guys, quite frankly, that is all of the possibilities that you should have.